Day Trading Radio presents a Briguy trading production.
Good evening, ladies and gents, boys and girls. Thanks for stopping in for Briguy's Tools of the Trade. Today is Tuesday, December 18th, 2012, and this will be the last show of the year, as we do have the holidays coming up, and I'm sure many of you will be looking to spend that with your family and friends, and I plan on doing the same. So I'll miss you guys for a couple of weeks, but we'll be back with a show that should prove to be very interesting for January 8th, already getting that set up with a special guest. So we look forward to that. So I'm checking out the members in the chat room here at daytradingradio.com, and it's good to see some of the regulars here, and looks like maybe a couple new ones as well. So good evening to everyone out there. I see, do my romper room routine. I see Buckeye and Mr. Jimmy, Fred from Canada, by the way. We like our international buddies. And Die Laughing. Fowler, who refuses to give his real name, or her real name. And, of course, Kumar, Buckeye. I see Punky G, GB, 8531296. Probably giving away people's email addresses. Oh, we got some folks checking in from the UK. Captain Trader, you must be up early. And we're going to skip that name. And Buckeye, of course, from Ohio. Why wouldn't you be, right? So thanks, everybody, for checking in. And for those of you that are not members and just watching the show either live or on a recording from later on, we appreciate your attendance as well. So tonight's episode is going to be another night of open mic, which means that if you've got something you'd like to share with the members, then this is your opportunity. You can reach me on Skype. My handle is Briguy Trading. You can reach me in the chat room and tell me that you'd like to share something. If you don't feel like calling in, that's fine too. We could definitely be able to use the chat room in order to share any thoughts or ideas. I saw some earlier comments in the room, some folks talking about a few different things, so if we want to bring that back up, we could do that. The other part of the show we're going to talk about is, I came up with a better, I should say a little more clever title for it than when the announcement went out earlier, and that is Mutual Instruments. Mutual, that's the wrong word actually, now that I think about it. Now I'm going to have to edit this later. It's supposed to be musical instruments. Stinker. Put the wrong word in there. So, musical instruments is the idea, and we'll have to get to that later on. I went and stuck the word mutual in there. Kind of ruins the whole thing. But anyway. And it looks like we've got our first guest calling in. Let's see what this guy wants. Good evening. You have reached daytradingradio.com. Please state your name and where you're calling from. Oh, come on now. We're trying to be professional.
Why did it take you like 10 rings, man?
Oh, you know, my software is it's time for me to upgrade this machine. I heard Johnny talking earlier about Whiplash. I'm just going to have to save up some beans, but it's definitely, I've got the old Windows Vista on here, which does not recognize the 4th gig. So I'm really, even though I have 4 in the machine, it's only really working on 3.
You're also probably running 32-bit.
And I've got 32-bit, yeah. When I bought this, the 64s had just come out. I got this like 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And, the price range, I just felt like I was just going to deal with the 32. And then worry about upgrading later. And guess where we are?
Yeah, I'm surprised you can even broadcast a show with it.
Well, I mean, come on, you've been broadcasting with, your cell phone and a piece of string. So you should be surprised if I could get it to work on a 3 gig desktop here.
Yeah. Well, that's you've done good then. I mean, that's because your shows are fine; they're absolutely fine. But you're probably pushing his limits though, to where you are going to start to see some latency and some problems.
And the 10 ring Skype would definitely be one of those things, because I clicked it as soon as I saw it.
Okay. Hey, I just wanted to jump on here because I've been bombarded probably for the past 2.5, 3 weeks. We're talking about the automation section of Day Trading Radio that's coming up soon. And
by the way, because we got some viewers that may be not familiar with your voice, yes, this is RPM. Check it in here, and if you guys don't know who he is by now, please state your handle in the room, and RPM will do a special thing with your account by tomorrow.
But anyways, the last 2-3 weeks we've been developing this automation section of Day Trading Radio, and it's all going to be around the GasBot will be the first automated strategy that we'll be offering. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be a pay-per-view thing. So about 3 weeks I've been working on it. Obviously, Gas and Johnny have been developing and fine-tuning, the actual scripting that will do the trading. I've been trying to figure out a way to deliver it to the clients, to the customers. Trying to figure out a way to get a message system to where when the bot actually trades or is about to trade, the chat room channel that will have the trades in it, it's very timely, no latency. I've got it down to about 0.91 seconds from the time the trade actually happens to the time you see it in the chat room. So I think we're good there. So I'm tweaking some things, trying to make some different colors for different types of trades, or as long or short or a stop or whatever, different color to allow people to visually see something like that a little bit easier. A lot of stuff in the background has been happening. I've been working late hours and stuff because during the day it's just hard to. During the day I get a question every 45 minutes or so. Somebody comes to me and they say, when will this be available and what platform can I run it on? Can I run it on my Infinity account? Can I run it at my Apex? Just all these crazy questions, and I think there's some misunderstanding on what this initial product is going to be. Mm-hmm. What it is going to be is a pay-per-view type thing where you actually watch the bot, and Johnny's put the bot up a bunch of times. We'll tweak it so people can see it, maybe a little bit, bigger numbers and stuff on there, and maybe auto sizing, whatever we have to do. But basically, people are going to be able to watch it, and they'll be able to watch a chat channel where the trades get thrown out into it. And you'll also have audio alerts, so when the trades happen on it, we want people to try to follow that, and that's the whole idea. You follow the bot, you watch it do its thing, but you're ultimately responsible for your trades, executing your trades, getting out of your trades, getting into your trades, or not trading at all if you don't want to. Mm-hmm. So that's the first product, and that's going to be part of the automation section of Day Trading Radio, and it's going to be $19.95 additional if you're already a member. You need to be a member by January 1st. So December, the end of December is going to be, January 1st, that cutoff is over. You need to be a member by then. And as long as your membership starts before January 1st, you'll be able to add that package for $19.95, I think is what we're thinking.
Okay.
For people who decide to wait and join Day Trading Radio later, after January 1st, the product will be $29.95 to them.
Okay.
So, and I might have this slightly wrong. We might tweak that, but basically the idea is people need to be ready to get the automation section added to their Day Trading Radio account before January 1st. It means you need to be a member by then.
Okay.
So that's the basics idea. But this is a pay-per-view only type of situation, and we do have some other people that have come to us with some different automation strategies that we could do something very similar with, that are already written in the same language and everything, and they trade different vehicles. One of them actually trades Apple, which is kind of crazy. I was talking to a guy today that has one that actually trades Apple. So, mm-hmm. We have some possibilities of potentially, opening it up to some additional products that would also be part of that, that automation section of Day Trading Radio. But the first one is going to be all about Gas and his bot and his automated strategy, and then we'll be tweaking it from there. But this section, I'm sure, is going to grow in time, just like Day Trading Radio has. So as people get in early on it, the value may definitely increase. But there's been a lot of questions. Brian, I've spent so much time just answering questions from people, and I know, to me, it seems frustrating because every time I turn around, there's another question about it, and people are misunderstanding what it's going to be and all that. Mm-hmm. But I realize it's different people. Different people come into the site, are able to listen at different times during the day. Sometimes we just got off the air talking about it, and somebody pops in 10 minutes after we got done talking about it and asks a million questions about it.
Ask the same questions again.
Yeah, and it's understandable. People are just, they're interested in it, which is a great thing.
Right.
That's the good thing about it and stuff. So we thought we'd probably put up like a frequently asked questions or something like that. Put a link in the room for people. I know most of the questions already because the same ones are being hammered to me over and over again.
Right.
I don't want to go into specifics about how the bot is coded and stuff like that. But the main deal is that this is like a pay-per-view thing. You watch it, you trade your own account. So that most people think that they're just going to be able to purchase the code and put it on their own computer, and that's a misconception. And I just want to get that out there and just tell everybody we're working hard at it. So,
well, from that standpoint, and I don't remember where I was just trying to find it in the forum, but if you guys just dig around in the forum, somebody started a link already to kind of collect some of the questions together. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen that link, but if somebody wants to throw that in the room. So you could do that, and at some point we will come out with the FAQs. But basically, when you use the term automation, it's really not the way most people think of automation tools, where they're going to subscribe to a coded service, and it's going to link into their account and their brokerage and take over their system, and they decide when to turn it on, when to turn it off, and how many trades to put on. But instead, it's kind of like an indicator, so to speak, where the bot will throw in an order at a certain level and give you an indication that wants to go long or short at a certain level.
Right.
Then you have to decide personally if you want to follow that trade and place an order either at the same level, or if you want to go above it or below it. That's up to you. It's your account. So there's no one from Day Trading Radio is going to be accessing your account or interacting in any way with your account like a broker might, and it's just going to be completely in your hands and your control.
Right.
Which I think is one of the reasons why it gives you a little bit greater flexibility of having the service.
And you may learn, and the cool thing is you may actually learn some of the techniques that the bot is looking at. So it may be a learning experience at the same time. You're going to be exposed to that emotional part of it because you're going to be manually controlling it, watching what the bot's doing. So emotions are a bad thing in trading, but at the same time, we're all going to have them no matter what. So to be exposed to it and learn to deal with it may actually be a good thing. Mm-hmm. You just have to have confidence that the bot actually works out and has a great track record over time, and you have to be willing to stick with it. It's going to be very similar to watching John trade during the day. You look for his trades, he does them, you decide whether or not you're going to take them or not. It's kind of like that. Just
good point.
Now, having said that, in the future there may be a way that we can bring, space on a black box where you can actually trade these, these strategies, on your own broker.
Right.
It's quite possible, without you having access to the code. So we continue the respect for the proprietary nature of the code itself, mm-hmm. and yet still get you on a completely automated system. So that's something that we're talking about, and could potentially work out some great deals in the future with that.
Right.
And that'll come at a different price and everything, obviously. But the first thing people need to do is to get familiar with the bot and what it does, and get comfortable with its track record and watch it happen and get what they can out of it while they watch it. And many people may just decide to just watch it and take 3 or 4 trades a day, see it book the profits, they're perfectly happy, and then as they become more and more confident with the GasBot's the first one, as they become confident with that one, we may at some point offer it so people can actually run it themselves and walk away from it.
Mm-hmm.
So
so we'll see
not
it
here yet.
And just to explain to some of those who maybe you're watching this for the first time. If you're not a member and you're watching this on live stream right now or here at daytradingradio.com, then here's an opportunity. Get in now as a member. You lock in your membership. Now, the base membership's $29.95, and once you lock that price in, that price never goes up for you. And we've always said that. Offering this other service is not really Day Trading Radio's product. So I've seen some people comment about, well, why is the price going up? I'm getting another feature. Well, it's really someone else. And Gas could have just gone ahead and done this on his own if he wanted to, and figured out a way to do that. Yeah. But he's been a longtime member, a supporter of the site, and through this partnership arrangement here, he's able to offer this service to the members, and it's really a nominal charge.
Yeah, and we're reciprocating that back to him. It's one of those deals where basically he's wholesaling it to us, and we're going to be the final retailer. Not only are we going to be the retailer, Day Trading Radio is responsible for actually delivering the end product and the support to the customer. Now, Gas is definitely going to be supporting people. He'll be helping people out a lot. But, ultimately, the money's going to flow through Day Trading Radio. Majority of it's going to go right to Gas.
For the subscriptions.
For the subscription, for the gas,
not
the gas
trades
bot
themselves.
Right. Yeah. So,
and Gas is in the room now. He's already, talking to folks, letting them know some of the trades that went on earlier.
Yep.
I think since 6 o'clock, he says the bot's 3-0 already. Yep. And it's a great little product. Trying to remember what the other thing I was going to say. Oh, the other thing is that even though RPM is saying he's been working hot and heavy on this for 3 weeks, don't think this was just thrown together overnight.
Well, and Jim's been working on it. Gas has been working on it for years.
Exactly.
And specifically this one that he's fine-tuned recently, probably over the last 3-4 months or so. So he could share it with us to see, what kind of results people are getting, and that's basically what's happened. It's been in beta, for a long time on his own account. Johnny's been running on his own ES account overnight for a while, and then we just recently started talking about it in the last, month or so.
Right.
So it's definitely
you're working on it for 3 weeks. Is just the hard stuff, which is making it something that everybody can get at.
Well, what we did was, we were concerned that. Well, first of all, we were concerned that if we sell the code, or Gas distributes the code and people put it in their own platform, we were concerned about how do you keep the integrity of it being a proprietary product, not shared with other people. So that was the concerns, and we decided that it would be great as an addition to Day Trading Radio to people at least be able to follow it and take some trades from it. Another concern would be, well, we didn't want everyone able to just watch the video, just like overwhelming majority of people who watch Day Trading Radio aren't paid members. We don't want it to be the same deal with the GasBot, so or any of the automated strategies that are playing on the channel. So we had to develop a private channel just for members only that were logged in, had access rights to that section based on the subscription. So that was kind of tricky. I got that done. The next thing is we built an entirely new chat server that will be the delivery mechanism for text alerts to the individuals, to completely keep it away from the existing Day Trading Radio chat room. We just made it completely separate, and now it's just a matter of getting the alerts, the trade alerts that happen on the bot itself as it's running on the platform on John's computer or Gas's computer, whoever's technically running it and serving it. It's just a matter of getting those into that chat room in a timely manner, and figured out a way to do it with email to IRC. We wrote a script. The Lamy actually helped. And, like I said, I got it down to less than 1 second. But when you actually see it visually, it's less than a second. So I can say that that's fast enough because the actual video itself will probably be closer to 3 seconds. 3.5, maybe 4 seconds in some cases for people. And then there'll also be audio alerts, which would be great because you won't have to look. You can actually listen to the audio alert itself. You don't have to look up and stare at the screen and focus your eyes. You can be looking somewhere else and hear it. So there'll be a combination of all those things.
Hey, Brad, are you there?
Delivering it.
Yeah, I just took a call from Vester, if you don't mind, Paul. He's a long-time member as well. Didn't mind conferencing him in. How you doing there, Vester?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Hey, how you all doing, guys? I'm just going to listen here. Carry on, RPM. Just carrying on. Just listening.
Hey, Vester.
Okay.
By the way, Vester, I saw that picture of your the present you got for your girlfriend. My wife showed it to me. It looks very, very pretty, man. Good job.
Thanks. Hope you like it.
Hey, look, I got to get out of here. I'm gonna let you guys take it on. I got to finish up some stuff.
Okay, Paul. And, real quick before you go,
yep.
if I'm a member of Day Trading Radio, how do I subscribe to the GasBot?
Well, it will have a link on the site, and you click the link. And what it will do is if you're not subscribed to that section already, it'll take you to the account information page. And on that account information page over to the right, there's a drop-down list of all the products that you can subscribe to. And it's not in there yet, but you'll see it. It'll say GasBot $19.95.
All right.
And then you just add that subscription to your account. Once that goes through, you click that link again that says the GasBot or the automation, whatever we're calling it. You know, you'll know what it is. Right now it's a GasBot logo. You click the GasBot logo, it takes you in that section.
Okay.
Hey, Paul, I got a quick question on the GasBot. Just a little bit I've seen. Seems to want to grab the little pullbacks. If you're in a long trend, it tries to grab the retraces back down and grab like a tick back down here. Is that a setting that you set up, or anyone has a bot has that, or can you set it for, okay, if we're in a long trend here, and if you're basing it on a 5-minute chart here, and we're moving nicely here, I don't know what kind of indicators it uses. I know it has Bollingers, I see that, but a lot of times, well, last night, for example, I saw, okay, it took a short, and then the price moved up like 3 ticks above it. I know it stops wide on it. The boss not intelligent enough to see that, you know, price is doing this, and so I need to reverse and get on along there and grab like 3, 4, you know, points when it's doing this. Or
all right, Vester, you know, you sound like you're asking questions about how the code is set up,
and I can't answer that.
And it's your trading, so if you want to move the stop, you get to move the stop. You don't have to do exactly what the bot's doing.
Okay, so you still have control on that. When the bot's doing the trade, you can still jump in and you can change.
Yeah, you know, Gas has set the bot to be like 2 ticks. I think we were talking about yesterday or the day before. Johnny had his version set at 3 ticks. You know, whatever that part of it is, that's up to you of what you want to do.
Yeah. It's based on back testing, though. Gas has done a lot of back testing on it, and he knows that large, which seems a large stop, if he goes any less than that, there'll be more stop outs and more profits lost. So that stop that's factored in there is done on extensive back testing, and the track record on the thing is like, you know, 33-1 or 42-0. I mean, it constantly just books profits, even though they're smaller 2-tick profits. You know, the track record on the thing is pretty amazing. But if somebody's following it and they don't like the fact it's down 3 points in a trade, they can get out of that trade. The thing is, though, it may turn around before it were to hit the stop and eventually book the profit that it was designed to do in the first place. And in fact, the track record for it shows that it does just that. So, you know, I'll refer, those questions and stuff to the author, which is Jim, and let you guys go. I got some stuff I need to do.
Go ahead, RPM. Thanks for
I wanted to say thanks for doing the shows, Briguy, and thanks for everybody's patience with all this stuff.
Sure.
Take care, guys.
All right, Paul. Good night, buddy.
All right, see you, Vesser.
And, I didn't get a chance to go back overnight, but actually late last night or early this morning, Eastern time, we were looking at a trade that was on, I believe, at about 29 quarter, which means, and it was short at 29 quarter, which means the stop was at 34. And when I looked at it this morning, the opening candle from early this morning actually broke the 34 mark, but I don't know if the bot actually closed out before that, because it was set to sell at 28.75, I guess, with a 2-point cover. But that's one of the examples, because it actually went and traded right up against 33.25, but it didn't go to 34. I'm going to see if I could bring that up on the screen here. Let's go back to midnight, which would be at the 0 mark. And this is around where, I don't know what time it put the trade on. But if I scrunch this up, here you'll see where it was hitting at 33. And if I go earlier than that, there's also some hits at 33 and 33.25. But it never went, 33.25. So it never hit that stop at 34. And let me just move forward in time here and see. It comes down to 30.5, goes back to 33.5, and then comes down. Now it's down to 31. This is at 5:45 this morning.
5:45 this morning. I had a short in last night at 14.75. I mentioned in the chat room last night that we gapped up on the open, and many times I see that we take this gap, open up, and we usually pull back to the close price, which was around that 09.50. Well, anyway.
Yeah. So
and it happened again.
In this case,
I've seen it many times. So I put the trade on last night, short 14.75, and I filled overnight around 5:45. I think this morning at 09.50.
Right. On the ES.
On the ES, yeah.
Did I go back to the wrong day? Because that seems like
14:09.
Oh wait, you're in a different time zone. What time is 5:45?
Eastern.
5:45 Eastern.
in the morning.
I'm seeing it was at 14:30.
Hold on.
Well, anyway, just to finish my thought, it looks like the bot, if you were still holding that from overnight, looks like it what was the number I gave? Yeah, 28 3/4. So it looks like somewhere around 8 this morning, 8:30, somewhere in this range here, it would have covered for a profit. So all overnight you had about 8-9 hours. I mean, some people in the room were talking about it nail biting. It's just the way the bot is set, and many times when you have these kind of overnight automation trades, you just got to let them play out. You want to sit there and watch it and eyeball it for 8 hours, you're welcome to do that, but sometimes you really don't have to. And in this case, and I don't know, Gas, if you can confirm this with that trade from overnight, but it looks, just looking at it on the screen, it looks like it would have covered at 28 and 3/4 with that 2-point cover at around 8:30 or so, or maybe even back here at 8:27. And you would have been out of that trade. And then you've got, it came all the way back up. If you held on to it, if you didn't actually have that stop in there and you just had it so you were eyeballing it and you went to sleep, this is where the foolishness would be, because you'd missed the cover, and then it turns around and goes right back up to 14.38. It would have been so far away from your trade if you did enter at 29 quarter.
That was like a day ago, 2 days ago.
All right, yeah, they're all starting to blend together, right, Vesser?
Yeah.
But yeah, that gap up I think was day before, and I only have a couple days worth of data on the screen here. So. Yeah,
I'm looking at a 15-minute on the ES right now, and we had a nice pullback up today, consistent with my bullish trend on this. Looking for a fifth wave move on this, and we had a comment in the room the other day that just some little hints, possibly maybe have a deal going on, getting closer, getting a deal on the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is going to happen when we actually get a deal on the cliff? And it's a sweet deal. And what do you think this one's going to do? I think this one's going to fly and pop up higher. And it's going to be consistent with my fifth wave on the Elliott. And so that's what I'm talking about. And so I'm still bullish on this ES market here until, let's say, first quarter of 2013. So as far as equity investors, I don't want to jump in anything now up at this level. I want to wait. It's going to go higher. You're going to go, damn, I wish I got into that stock. But, I'm thinking that probably after Q1 of 2013, we're going to get a pullback. How far we go, I don't know yet. I haven't done that analysis. But I do believe that once we suffice and we pull back down there, that would be a better entry for some stocks for a long holding. But that's just my opinion. But yeah. I think, as far as we can go on this, we got the Christmas rally coming up, hopefully, and a fiscal deal, hopefully. And we're going to get a little pop. But then beyond that, what do we have? And on a technical level, I'll just say that if we get a nice little pop here and it moves, we're in a fifth wave in an Elliott pattern, which is 5 waves up, and then we start to move back down. So around that 1,500 level is probably going to be a top. So if you're looking to get into equities, you might want to wait until we get a drop off this level. It's kind of hard to buy in when you're at 3/4, here now because you're probably going to take a loss if we do drop. So if you really want to take a equity for a long holding, it might be wise to hold and wait when you see the overall markets how they're trending, and then see if you can buy it in a pullback area.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on BAC $5, 500 shares. It's what, $11 today. So yes, it makes sense.
Yeah. And, you know, you got some other factors going on. You have when the fiscal cliff does get resolved, whenever they do it, it's still a temporary patch until the next time, you know, that thing expires. Because everything's going to have a certain amount of time that'll be in effect. So, and the other part is, I'm thinking that you actually will then be removing the uncertainty, which is what drives the market many times, is people who are thinking it's going to turn out one way, and people are thinking it's going to turn out the other way, and they're pushing and pulling. That's your bulls and bears. So once it gets resolved, then it's going to remove that uncertainty out of the market. You know, some positives are what you mentioned, and I'm thinking even internationally, we've got the new government in Japan, and they're making some strides to improve business. I just heard this earlier today. Greece was upgraded from whatever status they were at to like a B- or something. So even if that's a subconscious thing, it's gonna help folks out. I've just got my daily on the screen here, and I've got that move up from down in November 16th, so just about a month ago. You've got this run up, and I didn't notice this because I don't really look at the ES. I don't know if the SP it looks the same, but here from the 14th, which was Friday, you've got sort of the, what would you call it, a gravestone or something candle?
Well, I think until we get past the doomsday, we're all in a gravestone. Nobody wants to admit it, but I think there's a lot of apprehension based on that 12-21-12.
Yeah, could be.
So, 12-22-12, I think the market's going to be up. Let's put it that way.
It's amazing how that happens to be a Friday, right?
Yeah, it is amazing, isn't it?
So, all right, well, thanks.
Thing is, how many people, we saw the bad thing in Connecticut happen there, and, my heart is still grieving on that one, and and the other stuff. And then you read some stuff over in, I don't know, it was Europe or beyond that. There, some guy stabbed a bunch of kids in a kindergarten or something. And it's like,
yeah, I saw that. That was one of the Asian countries.
Oh, it's sickening. Some of these people acting out on their whatever, thinking that the world's going to end. But can't help think that there's maybe some kind of a little bit of a bias, maybe just an overshadow on the market.
Mm-hmm.
Once we get past that, maybe it'll go, and then we'll get that good rally on the markets, hopefully.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks for checking in, Vester. Appreciate it.
All right, man.
All right.
Have a great night.
Yep, you too. Be well. So that was our member Vester checking in with us, and of course RPM just before that. And as we talked about the GasBot, if you guys are interested in it, look for that link on the site and check it out so that you can lock in that price. Excuse me. So I'm just going to run through a couple of news items. I see it's already 8:40 Eastern Time, and we've got this little contest that we're going to run for a little bit. Hopefully it'll be a little entertaining. And I see some folks checking in the chat room, so give me a couple moments and I will check in on that as well. And Chili Gee, we'll have to rewind the tape, get your DVR next time, and rewind the tape, get those questions answered. Check with me near the end, and I'll be sure to answer that. So if you looked at the news today, I'll just read some of these headlines instead of the whole article, but you guys can check this out. These are some articles on the Yahoo AP Archives site. So of course today we had the Cliff Talks moving on, and Boehner's coming out with a Plan B. I don't know what time of day this was announced, but I did see it come up on the headline, and I won't get into all the particulars about it, but obviously this is part of the back and the forth between the two parties. I saw this little comment. I didn't get to read what it was about. The headline was "Government says it's investigating data brokers." It says the FTC is investigating companies that sell consumer information. And government says it will investigate the companies collect and sell personal information about consumers to determine whether they need to improve their privacy practices. They said Tuesday it ordered 9 data brokers to provide the agency with details about their source of information, how they use the information they gather, and whether consumers have access to the data. The 9 companies are, and I don't see any reference to their stock names, so if anybody in the room wants to look these up and share that, we can maybe take a look at these names. We've got Axiom of Little Rock, Arkansas, CoreLogic of Irvine, California, DataLogix of Westminster, Colorado, eBureau of St. Cloud, Minnesota, ID Analytics of San Diego, Intellius of Bellevue, Washington, PeakU of New York, RapLeaf of Chicago, and Recorded Future of Cambridge, Massachusetts. So it seems like there's a lot of room for more competition in that business, but of course if you've gotten those spam emails or late night phone calls and you're wondering how they know you just bought a car, or how do they know you're late on your mortgage payment, a lot of those are pieces of information that are public in one way or another, but data mined by these agencies and then resold to other folks that provide services. Let's see, have some comments about the gun manufacturers. Of course, that's in the news for obvious reasons. And I saw a headline today that Dick's Sporting Goods is suspending sales of automatic rifles. That's DKS. So we'll see where that goes. We had a similar thing after Columbine with some stores that were changing their rules about who they sell ammunition to. And this article is saying that trying to find Bushmaster is the company here, and I don't know if that's is that Ruger's number, RGR? Doesn't say it in the article, but that's one of the companies being affected. Of course, Smith & Wesson, SWHC, is another one to take a look at. And I don't see that their charts for at least the day moved around a whole lot, so you guys can take a look at that. Of course, Walmart's another store that sells a lot of weapons, retail weapons, but their stock's getting hit from the Mexico bribery case that we actually talked about here on Tools of the Trade just about 3 or 4 months ago. So that apparently is going on, and yet their stock was up today. So go figure on that. Let's see. How about Oracle? They had their earnings after the close, and they're up 18%. Now I'm just going to change what we're looking at on the screen and see what they are doing after hours. Let's roll this back here. So we did have a pop-up. Closed at 32.88. And looks like it moved up about $1.10 at some point at the high, and now it's settled out at around 33.30, still up after hours. And it says their latest quarterly earnings rose 18% as companies splurged on more software and other technology toward the end of the year. So that kind of makes sense. Companies trying to get rid of their money. I'm getting a question about whether the show is running. I hope the show's running. It looks to me like the show's running. So hopefully the video didn't stop on my end, but you guys let me know if that's happened. So yeah, as you get to the end of the year, a lot of companies have their cycle, their fiscal cycle is also tied to December as the end of the year. So if they get rid of their cash, many companies won't be paying tax on it. So Fowler, I see you mentioned my name a couple times, and I know you guys are probably hearing that ding. I'm just going to leave that on because otherwise I can't tell if you guys are talking to me or not. Yep, doing a show tonight, guys. Tools of the Trade Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Trying to be pretty regular with it. We had a couple of episodes that we missed because of the storm and the fact that I lost power and getting over a cold, but otherwise we've been pretty consistent. So getting back to Oracle, it looks like the results announced Tuesday were an improvement from the previous quarter. Latest quarter, September through November. Oracle is the first technology bellwether to provide insights into corporate spending since the November 6th re-election. They earned $2.6 billion or 33 cents a share versus the $2.2 billion or 43 cents a share of last year. Revenue up 3% to $9.1 billion. So maybe you guys want to take a look at some other stocks that Oracle competes with and other places that companies might be spending their cash on software, and you can see if you can find a play somewhere in there. We got some news about the S&P 500 changing. I believe this is on the 21st. I don't see a date in this article, but earlier I saw it said the 21st, which is this Friday, and that is that part supplier Delphi Automotive PLC will replace Titanium Metals Corp in the S&P 500 index after the close of trading Friday. So that's Delphi Automotive, DLPH, currently trading. Let's see what they're doing after hours. So, yep, after that news, it looks like they gapped up pretty sharply. We have them closing at 34.45 and gapping up to 36.09 on a high. And the last trade, it looks like it's at 35.99. So I don't know if they halted it or what. Certainly not a lot of volume going on. But that is going to be interesting for them. And Precision Cast Parts Corp, that's PCP, interesting name. Precision Cast Parts Corp is in the process of acquiring titanium, so that's the reason why titanium's coming off the charts. That's TIE. I believe that was, I seem to remember talking about this stock earlier this year, but of course if they're getting bought out, their volume is going to dry up. And let's see what Precision Cast Parts is doing. And these guys actually, when I think about it, I was looking at the daily, and man, did they have a strong move up in the last, as most of the markets since July, but they also had this nice move in the last few days, moving up almost $10. Looks like maybe $8. So you can add that to your list. Also, I believe this level, it's definitely a 52-week high. If I change this to multiple years, let me see. Let's try the 20-year. Yeah, actually it's an all-time high at this level, 188.56 the high, closing at 188.39. So probably going to see some more volume on this as it's getting attention, so take a look at that. And article today about Instagram. They, I believe, are not a publicly traded company, but of course you have Facebook, which announced that they were going to, or they have already changed their service level agreements, so that they could display ads with Instagram and work out some kind of deal with them. Of course, if you're a user of Instagram, that means you've been sending your photos in order to share it with your friends and family, and the question comes up whether or not Instagram is now going to be making money on your photos. That doesn't seem very nice. But there was a late article that came out saying that they were going to compensate the owners of the photos in some way. I don't know how maybe they don't even know how they're going to do that just yet. But, there are services out there that you can share your photos with and allow people to buy your photos. I think we talked about it on an earlier show. And I did see a member in the room. If you go to the chat room link at daytradingradio.com, and instead of choosing the chat service that you normally choose, at the bottom of the last button says chat logs. If you go back through today's chat logs, you'll see a member referenced a friend of his website. I don't mind plugging one of the member sites, friends anyway, and I believe it was Insta Canvas, if I remember correctly. So look for that. I think it was Insta Canvas with a .as at the end. Insta Canvas. So I don't know what country that is, AS, but that's how they registered the name. And there's also another one out there that I can't think of right now, Insta something, that allows you to post your photos, and then you can, if somebody wants to buy it as a poster or a painting on the wall, they have all this digital equipment now that can do all kinds of things. So you could take advantage of that. By the way, we're looking at the GasBot in the room. We don't have the video for it, and that's only because I don't have access to the bot myself right now. But Gas is actually in the member room now, and mentioning the ask that the bot is putting an order in right now. So I'll leave that for members, that they can be in the member room and follow along if Gas is going to be kind enough to place those remarks. I'll change this back to the ES. Let's see, we had Japan closing up 1.25% today. Another reason for the market doing so well. And looks like China was up only 0.1%. They're going to open again in another 50 minutes or so. Germany was up 0.64%. UK up 0.4%. And the French CAC 40 was up 0.29%. Today the US, of course, S&P up 1.15%. Mexico also up the same, and Brazil was up 1.5% today. And the last article I was going to look at was this on gold, and it says in this headline that gold falls as U.S. budget talks continue. Of course, sometimes I hear these headlines and they make a comment like that, and they, they're kind of oversimplifying the situation. And I know Fowler's in the room if you'd like to comment on anything with regard to gold. He was actually, when we were here early this morning anyway, we were looking at gold up here at the 1704 mark, and that's where he was actually in the trade and in it for a long position. I believe he entered at about 1701 or so. I hope he doesn't mind me sharing his trades, but I'm going to do that. And I'll just show you, let's see, this is today. Here's Tuesday AM. So here's the high of the day, including the overnight, at 1704. And right in here is where he got out of the trade. So he picked up his, I don't know how many ticks that is, but it's about $2 or $3 in a move. And he's posting the entry in the room now at 17.10. And I believe he got out at, what, 360. Yeah. So if I understand how the ticks work on gold, which is about $10 a tick, then per contract that would be $350. So not a bad overnight trade. If he got in at 1700.10 and likely got down, entered that trade back here at around 11:30 p.m. or so. So from 11:30 p.m. to just after midnight, so half an hour. And in that, if it was one contract, then I don't need to get into what his trades were. But if you did one contract and made $350 in half an hour, well, you got some Wall Street attorneys that charge that rate, so you'd be doing all right. And whether or not you took a short at that point, I know it's always a woulda, coulda, right? But we were looking at this last night, and I told him myself, I'm trading options, so I got out of my GLD calls a while ago, and it's just, to me, it's not sitting, at least when you look at GLD, it's not sitting in any kind of a discernible pattern. And, gapping down 20-something points this morning. I don't know if that was a drift or, definitely looks like if you got up nice and early and shorted it even at the 1700 mark again, you're sitting right here below all your averages. I know he looks at the 4-hour chart with the 55 average. I don't think I have the 55 on the screen here. This is the 2050, the 150, and the 500. So, and of course I got all these high-low close and pivot lines on here too, probably making this look a little too busy. But here you are on the 4-hour chart, and if you did get out of it at the 50 moving average, I don't know if that was clear enough to take the trade at that point. Maybe if you were shorting it from a couple days ago, I don't know. I mean, it's always easy to look back, as they say in hindsight, right? 2020. So, just getting back to this article here about the tie-in to the budget talks. It says price of gold falls on expectations that the Republicans and Obama will reach an agreement on the U.S. budget, with 2 weeks left to resolve their differences, holding their ground. If the two sides fail to reach an agreement before Jan 1, tax increases and government spending cuts will go into effect. I love that people proofread their articles. Associated Press. I mean, I messed up my little splash article, and that's just because I slapped that together about 5 minutes before going on air. But I would hope the Associated Press does a better job in these articles. New budget will make it less likely the Federal Reserve will have to take additional steps to promote the economy. Such Fed measures typically benefit gold, said Dave Meager, Vice President of Metals Trading at Vision Financial Markets. The closer we get to some type of resolution takes away a bit of that possibility and hence is less supportive of gold. Industrial metals also fell in part because of the drop in gold prices. It also is the time of year when trading is light in metals. And I got the 4-hour on the screen. Let's change that to the daily. And see if I can move the prices up above, the candles anyway, up above the volume. And you can kind of see where the volume's been in the last month or so. And actually, I don't know if gold volume, at least the GC volume, has been pretty steady. Going back to the summertime, you have a couple of days where it was up, but I don't know if you'd call that a light day. And I'm looking at the GC Thinkorswim. If you just put in the GC without the contract name, it kind of aggregates all of them together. You'll see Z2 is referenced here back in July 26th, and it's kind of busy on the screen, but November 28th, 29th, something like that, is where we moved over to the February contract, which is the one we're trading now. This says that in a March contract, silver fell 61 cents to end at 31,669 an ounce. Copper fell 1 1/4 cents. Palladium dropped $7.35, and January palladium ended down $14.80. Energy contracts ended higher. Benchmark oil rose 73 cents. Heating oil gained 4 cents. Wholesale gas rose 3.63 cents. Should say $3.63. And nat gas is up 6 cents. In other trading, soybean prices fell 2% after China and another unspecified country canceled purchase of more than 300 metric tons of U.S. beans. Well, going to have a lot of beans around. Wonder what we'll do with them all. Soybeans for January delivery fell 30.25 cents. That's why I can't say dollars, because it's actually cents. 3.63 cents of gasoline. So, all right. Yeah, and I see some comments about what these candles kind of look like with them. I have these high-low and pivot lines turned on here, and it's kind of on a daily chart. It makes a little busy. Of course, I have another chart I use for myself, and they're not turned on that. But because I'm broadcasting here, I just kind of using the chart as is. So let's put the ES back up, and we're going to close out the rest of our news headlines. And saw a little a little video on CNBC, Fast Money, if you guys watch that, and they talked about some of the technologies in the next year that will be either taking off or perhaps turning aside. So just to mention a couple of them to you guys, 3D printing is one that they mentioned. The consumers are starting to recognize the value in it, and being able to, even if you didn't buy the machine yourself and have it in your home, there are some pop-ups he mentioned in New York City, and I'm going to assume in other places, other cities as well, where you can go in with the plans. You might have bought it online or something, and you go in with plans for a lens cover or an iPhone case, something along those lines, and they'll print them out for you right at the store. So that's an interesting venue. Of course, we know we've talked about, I believe it's DDD, 3D Systems, and here they are moving up today, up $3.48. So I don't know if that was from an earlier article or what the story was, but obviously, I'm not saying to get into the trade now. You'd have to evaluate that, and I'm just bringing it on the screen to show you its price level. It probably had to move up after other people watching that show. So that's the one stock. And then they also mentioned Microsoft in regards to Windows and the Windows 8 machine. I don't know if you guys have seen that. You probably have read all the hate mail. Folks are never happy when Microsoft upgrades their software. But apparently, because it's this tile system with Windows 8, you might have seen the commercials for their tablet, the Slate tablet, Surface, all those names. It is actually, in their hopes anyway, going to drive consumers to use devices a little differently than they have before. I also saw an article about Nokia doing a little better because of their Lumia phone having better holiday sales than usual. I don't know if I have Nokia on this system. I do. It's an ADR because it's a foreign country, or foreign stock, so the ADRs, I don't know if it exactly is the same price level and volume as if you were trading this in Europe on a different exchange. But at any rate, Nokia is getting a pop because of that. And the idea, too, is that companies will be developing the smaller laptops with the touch screens. And the guy on the show mentioned that he's seen already some laptops about $500 that include the touch screen. So as that happens more and more, then the price will be driven down. The touchscreen will become a regular part of the laptops and likely to then the desktops. And so your interface with the computer will change if it becomes a touchscreen world. And I would assume the other software makers won't be far behind. But if you haven't seen Windows 8, it's very interesting. I found it to be a little something to get used to. If you put it on a desktop and you're used to using Windows in the traditional sense, to navigate, there's some extra buttons on the keyboard that work with it, and to move between the start screen and the home desktop screen where all the tiles are, and to be within the program itself, it is a little tricky. And there are some older printers. If you have some older printers out there, you're going to want to go to the manufacturer website and make sure they're compatible before you upgrade. I have a friend with an old LaserJet, HP LaserJet, that is on the list saying, from Hewlett Packard, saying that they will come out with a driver by the end of 2012. And seems like they're a little behind on that. So that was it. I think there was a couple other technologies, but you guys got the idea. Apple was another one, and the fact that Samsung, once the court case was settled, there was a lot of thought that Apple was going to take off from there, but actually Samsung has been hanging on, and maybe some people are actually preferring their products over Apple products. But I'll show Apple on the screen here, up another $15 today. And of course, if you're a member here at daytradingradio.com, you can go in the Apple Scalpers room. We've got some members in there that are just scalping this thing all day long, and they're doing it. If you've got a lot of money, you can trade a lot of shares and benefit that way, or you can watch these guys. They're posting even a lot of option plays that are intended to be day trades. So they're picking up on these scalps using the weekly options for leverage, and picking up some gains on these plays. So you can check that out if you guys are interested. Again, Gas in the Room, posting some of the bids and offers that the bot is seeking. So you guys can check that out if you remember. And we're coming up just after the 9 o'clock hour here, 9:09 p.m. Thank you guys for staying with me. I'm sorry if I missed some questions. I did see a couple of suggestions that were made, and song requests that came through. I'll have to look for that. But let's get to this contest. I wrote the wrong word down, but the idea was musical instruments. Musical instruments. In fact, let me get the slide up.